Welcome to the last week of regular season high school football, Jim, and another edition of the Fearless Football Forecast. I'm Ronnie Woodward, and Jim Gentry joins me. No Castleberry this week.
No,
he's on vacation. So shout out to Tony. Hope he's having some fun. But we got some football to talk about, Jim.
Yes.
And some big games. We've kind of been leading up to this point with a couple of these matchups. We'll start with the two in-county matchups, lead our way to Rose Newbern at the end. So that's our plan. So you start us off here. The first game, South Central travels to D.H. Conley, a game with some implications for sure.
Yeah, they're both they're a game apart in conference. Conley's 3-2, South Central's 2-3. South Central's on a bit of a surge. We've been talking about how they're a team of spurts. They win a bunch in a row, lost three, and then they're back on and they're winning ways. Conley, kind of licking their wounds after having that Newbern meeting, which obviously we knew Newbern's one of the best teams in the state, if not the best team in the state.
Yeah.
They're not number one in 4A, but I'd like to see them play some of those other teams.
Yeah.
Now they got to turn around and play a bitter rival. So and right now they're kind of jockeying for that third spot there as far as seeding goes in the 4A playoffs out of this conference.
Yeah, both teams 7-3 overall, which is kind of surprising, but I mean that maybe it's a close game, maybe it's equal. What's your prediction?
Well, just not to backtrack for 1 second, but what you were saying about that 7-3, we went up and added up the records. Our local teams are 41-19 this year. Really impressive. 41-19. We have one team with a losing record, and that's North Pitt, and they're 4-6.
Yeah.
So everybody else has got a winning record. So everybody seems to be doing really well this year.
No slouches in the county,
no.
Which you can't always usually say. Sometimes there's a team or two that struggles.
You expect to have like one dog,
yeah.
But this time around, it's been good. This should be a really good game. I'm going to give Conley the edge playing at home. They got a lot of firepower. I think it should be a close one. This is a tough one to pick, but I think I'm going to give Conley the edge being at home. Having to come off that Newbern game is definitely a tough thing to turn around to play your rival.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they respond. I think you're probably right, but I came into this week expecting, and for some reason, I was going to take an underdog, pick an upset. It's the last week, so I'm going to go with the Falcons. South Central is my game. Maybe I'm tipping my hand for the Newbern Rose game a little bit, but I'll take South Central. I think they're playing well on offense. I think they can score points. I think the key matchup in this one is, can South Central's defense stop Conley's offense?
Yeah.
I don't know if it can happen, but I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say they make enough plays. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do either way. I like what you said. Conley is at home. They're the favorite, have an edge. But, hey, I'll take Sean Furlow. I'll take the Falcons. And the defense makes just enough plays to win a close game. We'll see what happens. Next game, I'll take this one, another in-county matchup. Farmville Central travels to North Pitt. You mentioned North Pitt's 4-6, but both teams are 2-2 in conference. I mean, Farmville Central's 8-2, but both of those losses are in the conference, in the Eastern Plains Conference. So this is basically, I mean, they're going into the end. They're tied in the conference. I mean, this is a game where more than likely the winner is going to get a 3 seed for the playoffs. The loser is going to get a 4 seed. So, I mean, this is huge. Obviously, both of these first two games are kind of the same position. They're fighting for not only beating your rival, but getting an upper hand and going into the postseason with some momentum. And seeding is everything. We talk about it with, if you're in that 8-9 slot, or you have to go on the road in the first round compared to getting a home game. Huge difference once you get in the playoffs. So, big game. I did see Farmville Central last week. They got back on track, scored a ton of points. It was a blowout. It was a really boring game, to be honest, but the Jaguars took care of business.
Continuous clock, right?
Yeah, continuous clock by halftime.
Best friend.
So it looks like the Jaguars are back on track. North Pitt coming off a tough one against Washington. We know what Washington has.
Yeah.
So you think Farmville's probably the favorite here? I mean, obviously, I think throughout the course of the season, probably proved more. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars with my pick. After the upset pick, the first one, I'm going to take the safe road, and the second one, I'll take Farmville.
Yeah, this North Pitt's a real scrappy team, but I think if you just look at how they've done against common opponents, Farmville Central's handled Bettingfield a lot easier. North Pitt got a win there, but it was a lot tougher. Look at the Washington game; it came down to one play for Farmville Central. I think when you look at that, you got to give Farmville the edge. I think you got to pick Farmville. But what's to say about how tough these conferences are.
For sure.
We were talking about Conley and South Central, both 7-3, battling to be a 3rd seed.
Yeah.
One of them could be a 4 seed. And then in this matchup, if Farmville Central loses here, I mean, they could be looking at dropping even further down.
Yeah.
And they already have 8 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, these two conferences are really top heavy.
For sure.
I mean, it is a dogfight, and I mean, every week is a tough matchup.
Yeah, you can't take weeks off.
No.
I mean, that's the issue with these leagues is you're playing a lot of close games, win or lose. It seems like. Next game, this is a conference where Aiden-Grifton is the clear leader. So go ahead and preview this one. Aiden-Grifton at Northland North.
Yeah, Aiden-Grifton pretty much took care of business last week against Kinston, and they do what they do. They go through and they roll through conference and seem to just when they hit a different gear when they hit league play, they play a tougher non-conference schedule, and it seems to really help them out this time of year.
Yep.
Defense continues to play well. Kinston came back late to make that interesting, but early on, that Charger defense was still shutting them out until that little surge late in that game. And then, of course, you're talking about a Northland North team that's struggling 1-5 in the last 6 games. And
not scoring many points.
No, and getting not only shut out, but losing big to Kinston and Green Central, 2 teams that, Aiden-Grifton's got wins against. It just doesn't match. They're not a good matchup for the Hawks.
Yeah, for sure.
One.
I'm assuming we're gonna
go with sweep.
Pick. Yeah. We're gonna go with the Chargers sweep on this one.
I think so. I mean, you just look at what Kinston beat them 44-0.
Yeah.
Beat Northland North 44-0. You just gotta like the odds for the Chargers and continue that momentum heading into the postseason.
For sure. Props to Aiden-Grifton. I had my doubts, I'll admit, even a few weeks ago. I mean, I was still kind of hesitant. They weren't doing a lot on offense, but. I mean, when you got a defense that's proving it every week now,
stout.
I mean, they're going into the playoffs, as we always say, with momentum. I think that continues. Aiden-Grifton, I think, wins big, wraps up that title, heads into the playoffs, and we'll see how long that lasts.
And defense keeps you in every single game.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's a really good
point.
point.
It's hard to blow that team out.
Especially in the 2A division, in the smaller schools. If you got a good defense, I can go a long way.
Yep.
Aiden-Grifton's proven that right now. The last game, I'm covering this game, and I'll preview this one here. We talk about New Bern all the time. 10-0, 5-0 in the league. They're traveling to J.H. Rhodes, which is 9-1, 4-1 in the league. Pretty simple. The winner gets the 1 seed, wins the conference basically, is the conference champion, goes in the playoffs as the top team from the league. So this is a huge game, obviously. I mean, Rose got back on track last week. They were without Copeland Spell, the quarterback. Looks like he is going to play this week. I think that was more of a minor thing, and they were playing Southern Wayne. They were going to be okay. But it's that Rose offense. We talk about how high-powered they are. They score a bunch of points. I guarantee they haven't played defense this year like the one they're going to see Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, New Bern is just dominating teams. Like I said, especially when they're on defense, they're just not giving up many points. Like Havelock is like the only team that's really had success, and that was Havelock, and that was week 1 or 2, I believe. So the last month or so, New Bern's been great on defense. Rose at times this year has been great on offense. So I think that's probably your key matchup for sure. Can Rose score points when they have the ball, when they're facing New Bern? I know they have a lot of talent in the secondary. Mike Hughes is a quarterback. I think he plays a little bit in the secondary as well. Defensive linemen, they're kind of stacked. So there's your matchup to watch. I mean, for sure, I think that's going to be the key to the game. I'll start the predictions here. Going to take the Bears. Again, I'm going to take the safe route on this one. I think New Bern is, as we've said, really, really good. The wild card, though, I think if Cornell Powell, for Rose to win, he probably has to score at least 2, 3, 4 touchdowns, maybe. He's got to be the best player on the field. He's got to kind of win that personal battle with Mike Hughes, the quarterback I talked about. If that happens, hey, I think the Rampants have a shot, but I think they find a way to focus in on Powell, really shut him down, make somebody else beat them, and I don't think that happens, so I'll take New Bern to win.
Yeah, I hate to pick against the Rampants since they're playing at home, but you just look at the numbers New Bern's throwing up defensively. It's just shocking that they've only given up 24 points in conference to this point. And there's only one conference in this league.
Yeah.
But with teams like Conley and South Central that can throw points up, and Eastern Wayne, I mean, we've got some good football teams. So I think you just got to give them that edge, that defensive edge right now. Rose is going to have to score quick, I think, and then get a huge lead. They can't fall behind against this squad. New Bern's just super talented in that. So I think I just got to pick the Bears at this point, just because I really think they're the class of 4A at this point.
Yeah.
Not to one of the top 3 teams, they might be able to win it all.
Yeah, I agree for sure. All right, well, a lot of exciting games. Obviously, we had a lot to talk about, some good ones. Brackets come out Saturday, so next week we'll have a playoff edition one way or another. We'll see how things shake out, and we'll see you next week.